Yo! So this is race number 4 of the Friday Night League Championship at Norway Motorsports Park. Decent. So this is qualifying. Just jumping right into it. I qualified, well, I guess you'll see where I qualified, but during practice, I know I set the fastest lap in practice, but of course it's just practice, so it didn't really matter much. So here I am at my first lap of qualifying, and just kind of trying to get a feel for the kart, because in qualifying in rental karts, you know, it's a luck of the draw. You know, you kind of have to work with what you got. So here, you know, the kart felt decent. You know, the first thing I noticed is that there's some water droplets on my helmet, so it's something to keep in mind, but it didn't really seem to affect the traction too much, so I didn't really worry about it. One thing that I was trying to, I guess, keep in mind is the draft. So on this layout, as you can see, we went down that really long straightaway, and the draft is really strong down there. So yeah, it's just something that I want to keep in mind. So as I'm going along, I'm kind of trying to think of, you know, do I really want to push as fast as, you know, as hard as I can and get myself to be in first place? But, you know, you got to think of the layout, or not the layout, but like so it goes qualifying, then the first heat race, and then a feature race. The heat race, it just sets you up for the feature race. So depending on where you start, or where you finish the heat race, is where you end up starting the feature. So am I even making sense right now? Point is, I'm just going as fast as I can right now, and I'm just thinking about, you know, the strategy that I'm gonna have. So as you can see here, you know, the car feels decent. Just kind of going along. You know, it did feel a little bit slow, but it's hard because they space this out in qualifying, so you can't really, it's hard to get a like a reference to see if you're going faster than the person in front of you or behind you. I did take a couple, you know, looks behind me a couple times, but I couldn't really get a reference. But so at this point, I'm just trying to go as fast as I can. Midway felt decent, so I guess we'll just go along here. So right here, if you're starting in second place, you can see I kind of duck my head down. I try to, even if it just helps like 2/100ths of a second. You know, me and my boy Jesus, who's in the same class as me right now, we're pretty neck to neck. And like I said, it's kind of luck of the draw with the kart. So even if I'm super fast with this kart, he might have a kart that's slightly just faster. Like, it might just have like a better engine, or it might just be, I guess, like have better grip all around, better balance. Because if I remember correctly, this kart did feel decent. Because you don't see me struggling too much here to the corners. I do go a little bit loose there. But nah, yeah, you see me looking back there to see if there's anyone right behind me, because I felt slow. Even though the car looks good right now, like, I don't know why, but it just felt slow. So I think this is my last lap here. So I'm just trying to go as fast as I can. Trying to maximize as much as I can. Let's see. Corner. Yeah, I get the checker right there. So let's see what I got. Obviously I know what I got, but so I start second place for the heat race. So right now what's going through my head is just, okay, I know the draft is really strong here. So if you're behind first place, and if you can stay with first place, you know, you can kind of try to just stay there until like the very last lap, and then just make the pass on the last lap. That way, the person doesn't have a chance to attack. But it just all depends on the kart. So, a green flag here, and he already starts getting behind me. You see me, my head bounce up like that. That means because someone's behind me, giving me a bump. So I honestly really don't even want to be in first place right now, because that means that whoever's behind me can just stick with me through the straightaway and get my draft. So here I let off, but you can see he gives me the wave by, so I'm like, no way. There's no way. Like, I don't want to be here. But whatever, we press on. But you can see I'm going to start playing some games here, because, like I said, even if I am quickest through the heat race, I don't want to start first place for the feature, just because of you know, I'd be vulnerable throughout the feature race if they're right behind me. But it's 6 laps, so I got 6 laps to play with. You know, I'm kind of just going clean, just going as fast as I can, just kind of trying to gauge where I'm at. Now luckily, I guess unlucky, I was about a second off of first place, the guy behind me, in terms of lap time. So I knew the car was slow. I know the gut feeling that I had was right. And I know this car's slow, and I look behind me and I see he's pretty close. So I go to the side, I let off, but he gives me a bump and we keep going. But I get stuck with the same cart for the heat race. So I know I have a slow cart, and I'm in front right now. So I know that I'm vulnerable and he can make an easy pass on me. So I'm kind of just playing games here. You're going to see me go really wide. Yeah, right there. Really wide, and I let off because I don't want to be in first place. I want to be behind first place and get the draft. Realistically, this is where I want to finish the heat race so I can set myself up for the feature. But, you know, as we go on, we'll see what happens. So just trying to stay behind. Now, you'll see the first thing I notice is I'm barely catching up to him. Like, I am catching up to him, but not really the way I would like to. Give him a little bump there. At this point we're drafting. You know, and I was letting off a lot to make him go in front of me. So I'm suspecting that the dude in third place now should be decently close behind. But what I'm liking here is, and this is what I'm talking about, is that in the feature race, like, this is where I'd want to be, just because of how strong the draft is. You know, you can see that I'm staying with him through the corners. I'm kind of just judging him, seeing where I'm stronger than him. You can see that through the corners, I'm right on his bumper. So I know that if this is the situation for the feature race, I'd have a better chance of... I'm just confident in myself that I would get around him, rather than be in his situation where he's leading and I'm right behind him. You know, the roles could be reversed on the feature race, which is exactly why I don't want to be in his position for that. So I'm staying behind him. I'm keeping it cool, just trying to push him along. We're kind of working together at this point to get away from the person in third place. But at this point, you know, I start thinking, just a little weird editing thing there, but at this point I start thinking to myself, okay, you know, I'm a little bored right now. Maybe I could start third place, because then that way, if he finishes in first and I get third, I would start the race right behind him, and then me and him could work together to get ourselves to a 1-2 spot. Because remember, me and him are kind of the ones that have a little bit of an edge over the rest of the competition, just because me and him are the most experienced. So that's kind of what's going through my head at this point. So at this point, I'm going to start fighting him. I'm going to start trying to slow the both of us down so that the person in third place can catch up. So you can see I'm going to go for the pass here. Now whenever we go for a pass, it's going to slow the both of us down, because both of you guys are going to be taking lines that are not ideal. You can see that I went close to the apex on the entry there, and he had to go wide, and he probably had to let off to get behind me. So I'm going to be playing my shenanigans here, and I'm going to be going through the corners and making sure that I take the correct line, but I'm going to be taking it a little bit slowly. That way, we both slow down and get the person behind to catch up. So you can see he's looking back now to see where the third place guy is, and you can probably see that he's getting close now. So at some point I'm going to look behind to see where he's at. You can see he kind of went wide there, and I felt confident in that braking zone, and that's pretty much the one spot you can pass. Like, that's what I was talking about, is in the feature race, if I'm right behind him and if I can see that he's struggling in that braking zone, or if I just feel more confident in that braking zone, that's where I can go for the pass on the last lap, and he won't have a chance to really attack. So here, I let off, because at this point I'm trying to let the third place guy catch up to my bumper. So I'm looking back and I see he's close, and I'm gonna try to. Something weird happens here. You can see Jesus up in front. He goes wide because he doesn't want to start the race first place either. But you see, I go on the inside, but the dude behind me doesn't go for the pass for some reason. I don't know why. I left the door wide open on him, but he didn't go for it. And then you can see Jesus just is gone now at this point. My plan just didn't work, because I was trying to get the dude in front of me to pass Jesus. I don't know, just be a dickhead, I guess. I don't know, but my plan didn't work. But I start third, which is honestly where I wanted to start the race for the feature. I know it might not seem like it, but I was letting off here, so it's all in the plan. It's fine. No panicking going on. So if I could, one piece of advice I'd give the guy in front of me is he keeps looking back at me, like he's. Let's see. At some point, he's gonna keep just darting his head back. He keeps his eye forward here, which is good. Took a good line through there, but you see he's looking back for me, but he doing all that's gonna kind of compromise him. I'm nowhere alongside him, so he's just slowing himself up, really. You can see I kind of catch up right up to him. So we finished the race. That was a heat race. So I'm going to be starting third for the feature, and we'll see how that plays out. So third place for the feature. Just trying to get ourselves warmed up. Now finally I have a different kart now. So I did the qualifying and the heat race in the same kart. Now I have a different one. Luckily, like I said, luck of the draw. My plan is working fantastically, because those two karts in front of me, none of us know how those karts are gonna drive, but I know that the kart that I'm in, the heavy class, the person who won the heavy class was driving the kart that I'm in right now. So I knew that the kart was fast. So I don't have to worry about do I have a bad car? Is my strategy gonna work here? And I know that all I'll have to focus on is just driving good, and I should be able to get ahead. So we're just gonna be waiting for the. I had an itchy nose right there, but we're just gonna be waiting for the green flag. So the ATV up there, he sets the pace, and then once he kind of leaves off, like, we kind of have to follow the same pace until the green flag hits. Once the green flag hits, then it's game on. There we go, green flag. So at this point, now my job is to just make sure that me and the guy in front are 1-2, first, second place. So it's a drag race to keep the guy on the outside, you know, behind me. So I know he's on my inside now. I give him room. I give him room. Now, Jesus in front of me, he does not want to be first place. He does not. So he's going to let off there. I let off. But then the person who was in third place is going to give him a bump. You don't see him on camera there, but he's alongside me now. And I get the inside. Let off there. I could have spun Jesus out right there, but I didn't. It's called situational awareness, by the way. So, okay, now I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm right behind him, second place, and here I am just kind of pushing him along, trying to get us away from third place. So at this point, this is my strategy to win the race. So as we're going along, I start to notice that I'm pushing him quite a bit. So I'm pushing him along through here. I'm right on his bumper through these corners. So you might give him another bump there. Again, I'm right on his bumper. So like throughout the whole lap, I'm letting off just to stay behind him. So I know I can go way faster, but I'm still gonna just, you know, stay right behind him, because like I don't know for sure if it's just a draft, but I don't want to test it. I don't want to find out just yet. Like I want to make sure that my feeling is correct, because as of right now, I feel like I can go way faster than he can. So there I am. I'm still on his bumper. He takes a look behind just to make sure, see where I'm at. And I can see all the places that he's struggling at. Like I know there he's doing good. But here I'm just gonna go for the pass. I'm saying screw it. Let me just try. Maybe I can pull away from him. So I go for the pass, and now it's just about locking in and setting as fast laps as I can. Just keeping it clean, trying to get as close to the apex as possible on every corner, and just be consistent. That's the most important thing. I know the car that I have is fast. I just have to put it all together. So we're just going along here, making sure I brake as late as possible while maintaining speed through the corner. That's a big thing. Now I know I was kind of being critical of the guy, of him looking back, but he's new, so you know, once you get used to it, you know, obviously you can take a peek back, but you know, it's even caught me off guard a couple times where I'll take a look back, and then next thing I know, I'm in the grass. So yeah, unless you're like super confident, I mean, even then you might end up in the grass. So yeah, don't look back, keep your eyes forward, lock in. You know, that's all I can say. You know, really, you shouldn't worry about the people behind you until you can see them in your like peripheral vision. Otherwise, you're just gonna kind of like psych yourself out, and you know, you're gonna miss the next couple apexes. And if they weren't there behind you, then they will be. You know, once you've made a couple mistakes. So here you can see I'm just trying to go as fast as I can, and I see the guy there. I don't know if you noticed that, but on the right hand side, he was just leaving the big loop over there. So now I have a reference. I have a reference to know if I'm going faster than everybody else or if I'm losing time. gotta say, I love this layout here. The speed is really nice. Like, you just keep a high speed throughout the whole way. They say that these cars can reach like 45 miles an hour through here. I'll be honest, it really doesn't feel that fast, but I'll take their word for it. So remember the guy on the right. Now you can see he's halfway through the loop as I come across him again. So I know that I'm going faster than he is, at least by, I don't know, what is that, like 2-3 tenths of a second. So I'm making good time here. I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing. I know that if I'm gaining on him, I know that I'm doing good. I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing. Take a look back, and when I take a look back, I see that second place is nowhere to be found behind me. So at this point, I'm like decent. I'm good. I just need to cruise at home at this point. Now, that can be dangerous too, because you know, when you start kind of relaxing a little bit, as you can see there. And the dude that was in the loop, he's not even in the loop anymore, so I don't know if he spun out or had a mistake or something. But once you get kind of complacent, I guess, or just relaxed, you know, it's easier to make mistakes, or you might find yourself not pushing as hard as you should, and you kind of leave yourself open for the person behind to catch up to you. Because if you're relaxed, you know, the person behind you is looking at you as their reference. Therefore, it's easier for them to kind of see whether they're catching up to you or not. They can kind of see, like, okay, I see this guy isn't going that fast through this corner, but I am. You know what I mean? So you gotta try to push the whole time. Not like push yourself to the point where you're gonna be making mistakes, but you know, it's a fine line. So as you can see there, now that was second place, and he's now battling with third place. So I'm just, at this point, I'm just on a Sunday cruise, you know, just enjoying the weather. You know, it's a nice cool breeze. You can see me relaxing my hands a little bit. I just gotta make sure that I, you know, keep it clean through these corners right here. And like I said, you get complacent, and I just made a little bit of a mistake there. I went a little bit wide and kind of slid out a little bit, but it's fine. Maybe only lost like a tenth or two. Yeah, you can see I'm relaxing my hands, chilling, enjoying myself. You know, I had a stressful week at work, you know, but I'm chilling right now. I'm in first place. Life could not be better right now. But yeah, I mean, from here on out, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty boring. You know, at this, like, really the only thing that's pushing me to keep going faster is I just want to create as big of a gap as I can, just to kind of, you know, show your dominance, I guess, you know. But, you know, usually I will say that this was probably mostly because this kart was just really good. The kart that I had, I mean, I could even hear it in, like, the engine tone. Like, the kart that I had previously kind of just, it just didn't feel like I had balls. But this one felt like, you know, it just kept pushing me all the way through. When I spoke to Jesus afterwards, I mean, you can see that third place is catching up to him, you know, So I think his car just wasn't that strong. And this track, this layout at least, is very, like, if you don't have a car that can, you know, push through the air, you know, you're gonna be left vulnerable through that straightaway, especially if the person behind you, you know, has a draft on you. Because I mean, it's honestly kind of crazy how, you know, how much the wind can affect the performance of the kart. It's you know, I remember there was one week where we raced and there was a really strong headwind. I think it was like the first week that we raced this layout. And then, oh, you see I made a mistake right there. That's what I was talking about. You know, you get complacent, but I'm still building a bigger and bigger gap on them. So anyways, the first week that we raced on this layout, there was a really strong headwind. You see, I had 2 laps to go there, and I mean, man, the person in second place was able to just stay behind first place and let the person in first place, you know, break that wind, and they went for the lunge, you know, at the very last lap and got the win that way. Whereas if the wind isn't that strong, you know, the draft maybe not be as strong that way. So it's just something to keep in mind. You know, just little things like that to think about. So, you know, I've done a good job of just, I made one mistake, but that was really it, I think. And you can see I'm just building a bigger and bigger gap. You know, it's hard not to feel smug, but you also gotta remember, like I said, it's look at the draw, white flag. Went a little wide there. And these cars, man, like, you don't really want to. Of course, it's different with everything you drive. You know, it depends on what car, the track, the setup you got. But these cars being such low power, really don't want to hit the bumps too much, because it kind of just ends up unsettling the cart and it bogs down trying to like accelerate. That corner right there is pretty flat, so like the car, you don't really notice it. But if I were to hit the bumps on that inside, or that one, or even that one, it really, you can see the way my head's bobbing. So I win. Of course I won. So you try to stay more on the black stuff there, just to try to carry the speed through. But yeah, so I won this one. So yeah, I guess I haven't said it, but I am working towards something here. There is a goal, and whoever wins the most will get a free go-kart for a year, supplied by Ignite. So that is what I'm working towards. Alright, so trying to get that first place in the championship, obviously for bragging rights, obviously for experience, but above all, to get that go-kart. That'd be sick. Alright, peace out.